Warning. This program may contain material of an explicit or graphic nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Broadcasting undead from the B Ward, this is Post Mortem. I'm Dom.
And I'm JD. And today, we're skipping horror news.
We are. Fuck the news.
Fuck you and the news you wrote in.
Fuck what's going on in the real world. I only want to talk about fake shit. Like ponies and...
Unicorns?
Ponies.
Unicorns?
Ponies aren't real. There's no such thing as ponies.
Doug Jones, a mythical character.
Doug Jones lives under my bed.
Mommy, Doug Jones is out my window again.
This episode, we're just going to sit around and say weird shit.
Yeah. Like we like to do.
Yeah.
From time to time here at the B Award. And we have an interview.
We do. An interview that's not going to sound like dog shit.
Yes, because we perfected the art of audio broadcasting. We're professional podcasters
That's
now.
right.
So if you guys want us to be professional, click the Amazon banner. Anyways. So, no horror news.
No horror news.
Which means
our special guest.
Because our special guest, the Son of Celluloid.
Yeah, the, what was it? The
Mad Scientist of Ultraviolence. Nathan Hamilton. He is a pro wrestling commentator. He is a featured actor in the upcoming movie Frankenstein Created Bikers.
That's right. I'm excited about that.
Yes. And he is also the host of the Son of Celluloid blog and co-host of Picking Brains podcast. So we're going to get to him right after we get to this.
It's a real knowledgeable dude.
I'm going to play the sound effect now. Shut up.
Do it.
It's time for the good movie. And the bad movie.
You suck!
This time for me, it's not going to be the good movie and the bad movie. It's going to be the bad movie and the fucking confusing movie.
Okay.
I've mixed emotions about it, but I liked it more than I liked what I'm calling my bad movie.
Wow. Well, that's good, because I have a pretty good movie. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And then my bad movie, it wasn't a good movie. It has several things I can't fucking stand, but I did kind of like it a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, it's not the worst movie ever. So.
Okay. Yeah, my bad movie actually... Oh, you want me to just start with it?
Sure, go ahead.
So my bad movie is The Tortured.
Ah, I like The Tortured.
Yeah, I started watching it and I didn't like it, and I sent you a message and I was like, hey, have you reviewed this movie already? I can't remember because this is painful.
Can't remember anything.
Yeah, this is painful and I don't want to finish it. But then you didn't respond, so I just kept watching it because I didn't have anything better to do when I was stoned. And it got better, but there's still a lot wrong with it, and the more I thought about it afterwards, the more I was like, I didn't really like this movie.
I liked it. Bill Moseley, I'm a big fan of. Also in my good movie this week.
Yeah, Bill Moseley was the biggest redeeming feature of this movie, but he...
Who was the dad?
I don't remember. I don't know what the actor's name was.
Yeah.
But the thing about Bill Moseley was, for this particular movie, he was too good. And I'm not saying... Because, like, Bill Moseley's been in a lot of shitty movies, but he's still been awesome.
Yeah.
But he was too good, and it blew the twist at the end. So there's going to be spoilers for this.
No. You don't need to spoil this movie.
Well...
You don't need to spoil it. There is a twist, yes, that's
Yeah.
all we'll say. But it's semi-recent. It's streaming now on Netflix.
Yeah.
So you guys can check out The Tortured if you still want to after Dom's scathing review.
My scathing review. So the story is, in the very beginning, this little boy gets kidnapped and murdered by a psycho played by Bill Moseley. And he gets off of life in prison because he makes a plea bargain where it's 25 to life, which he'd probably be out in 10 years if he tells the cops where he hid the other bodies. And so he plays ball and does that. And the parents of the kid that he murdered swear revenge on him and hatch a plan to kidnap him and torture the shit out of him.
Maybe the reason I like it so much is because I am a father.
Yeah.
So it hit hard to me. Like,
yeah.
if somebody did that, I want them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that part of it was okay. It was a good plot, and I really like victim revenge movies, especially ones where it asks the question of, like, at what point does a normal person become a monster?
Yeah.
But there are better movies out there than this one that ask that same
There
question.
are plenty better movies. I will agree with you on that. But it's not a terrible movie.
Yeah, one of the first things that bothered me at the beginning was that the characters were really inconsistent. And, like, we should kill him, we shouldn't. We should torture him, we shouldn't. We should fuck this guy up. Oh, maybe I don't want to do it. Then there's a doctor who, like, took a Hippocratic oath and was like, I shouldn't hurt people. But then he's, like, the one enjoying it the most. And that was that kind of made me... but what really fucking bothered me was the CG gore. All the gore in it was CG.
Yeah, the effects are not good.
You know, it's Sci-Fi Channel effects. Like, even the effect of putting out a cigarette on the dude. That's a fairly easy effect to pull off. And they fucking CG'd it, and it looked like the Mummy.
Fuck them. Fuck the Mummy.
Fuck you, Brendan Fraser.
Fucking Brendan Fraser.
I actually kind of like the first Mummy. But anyway.
You know what I like? You know what I like? This is I don't know why I would divulge this information to our listeners right now. Please don't see me otherwise, as you did before. I mean, I don't mean to say, please don't like me anymore, because you probably don't like me, and I'm okay with that.
I'm curious where you're going with this.
Bedazzled.
Oh, yeah, it's a good movie. Harold Ramis made that movie. How could you not like that movie?
Okay.
Anyone not like that movie?
I like it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Encino Man's a fun movie. It's got Pauly Shore and Brendan Fraser in it.
Fucking
But,
Encino Man.
Yeah, you know, it's... I don't actually have a problem
Thought
with...
out cavemans.
Yeah, it's funny. Betty
That's
Boop.
our rating system from tonight. 90s cavemans.
All right, cool. Yabba Dabba Dude.
Yeah, yabba dabba dudes. That's our rating system.
Okay, cool.
Yabba dabba dudes.
Yabba Dabba Dudes. So Brendan, we're on a total fucking tangent right now. Brendan Fraser doesn't bother me. If Harold Ramis is going to direct a movie with Brendan Fraser in it, it's probably going to be okay. Back to The Tortured, which does not have Harold Ramis,
Or
Pauly
Brendan
Shore, or
Fraser.
Brendan Fraser in it.
Or Elizabeth Hurley.
Elizabeth Hurley. She's hot. Okay, anyway. Bill Moseley was in it. He's a psycho. He's a pretty good psycho. He's always a good psycho. But the thing is, Bill Moseley has a very recognizable face, and he has very recognizable facial expressions.
Yeah, and you know it's him.
Yeah, and you know it's
It
him.
didn't take me out, though.
But when they have him on the table, and he doesn't have the same facial expressions as Bill Moseley, you go right off the bat, this blows the twist.
Why would you say that right now?
Because there's no other way that I can say it, and that's what bothered me about the movie the most.
Skip back. Use that little button
No,
that skips you back 15 seconds.
There's no way that I can say what my problem with this movie is without giving it away.
Goddamn.
And my problem is, it's fucking obvious that it's not Bill Moseley on the fucking table, and you'd have to be fucking retarded not to notice it.
Okay, so that movie's ruined.
So I just blew it away, but I had to. Like, there's no other way, because that is what yanked me right the fuck out of the movie and made me say, I can't like this movie. Like, if they had done better makeup on him to make him look more fucked up after the car accident, where his face was just lumpy and Toxic Avenger disgusting.
They should have just put him on the table, and then at the end, it wasn't him.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
Yeah, something like that, you know, and have it be a twist. They look very similar.
God damn it,
But
Tom. No spoilers.
Sorry.
Okay.
There's
another rule. You forget the rules. When we set up top 5 lists, you forget the rules.
I do.
Here's another rule. If this movie is not a classic, and it's available streaming and shit, and not hard for people to get a hold of, and they might be listening to this, and they're like, oh, I'm going to check that out. Oh, wait. I know the ending now, but I'm not going to check it.
If it's the bad movie, though, like maybe...
Even if it's the bad movie, let the listener be the judge.
Well, I apologize.
Because I disagree with you.
Yeah.
I do not think The Tortured is a terrible movie. It's not a great movie. It's not a good movie, but I do not think it's necessarily a bad movie.
It's still got a fucked up twist at the end, and the twist still plays out.
I would categorize it as a movie.
A mediocre movie.
It's a movie. No, just a movie.
It's a movie.
A movie.
Okay. I'm going to give it 4.25 Yabba Dabba Dudes.
Yabba Dabba Dudes! That sounds like a horrible 80s tag team.
Yeah. Dude.
With Shane Douglas.
Yeah, for sure.
Yabba Dabba Dudes.
It's like Shane Douglas and Fred Flintstone.
Powering a little car the way to the ring and with their feet.
Then they win
With
the
the
match.
Yabba Dabba Dudes.
And they go get steaks that are bigger than their car. Fuck, why is that not a gimmick?
Brontosaurus steaks.
Why is that not a gimmick?
Because it's terrible.
No way, dude. That's awesome. I'd pay money to see that.
That's a Hood Slam gimmick.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would pay to see it at Hood Slam.
So, 4.25 Yabba Dabba Dudes.
Yabba Dabba Dudes.
For the torture. Sorry I gave it away, but there was no way that I could say what my problem with it was without giving it away.
All right. My bad movie, which it is a bad movie. I like the torture better than this one.
Okay.
So, it's called Always Watching, a Marble Hornets story.
A what story?
Marble Hornets.
Okay.
2015, director James Moran. I decided to check it out because it's on demand free on Comcast right now. Comcast has a little watch. You know, if you're a cable subscriber, you can watch instantly.
Right.
Movies for free. Poster looks like Slender Man, like straight up Slender Man.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, Slender Man movie. Check it out. I've seen a bunch of them. So, never heard of it. Starring Alexandra Breckenridge.
It's a familiar name.
Yeah, she's been in some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what.
Yeah.
She's pretty hot, but she's like kind of like doofus hot, you know?
Right.
Like,
Derpy.
kinda like derpy hot.
Yeah, like Becky Lynch.
Yeah, yeah. I like derpy hot. Chris Marquette, who's in Freddy vs. Jason. He's like the dorky guy that's hitting on the girl and the black girl. Like,
Oh yeah.
He's in it. He's
like
one of
that
the
guy.
main characters, and the one and only Doug Jones.
Oh, that's what David was talking about when he said Doug Jones.
Yeah, so I said, "Shut the fuck up, David!
Okay.
God damn it!"
Then you beat the shit out of him
Yeah,
right in
so
front
I
of
beat
me.
the shit out of him. There's
Okay.
no one here that's named David. Anyway, he's the operator.
Okay.
That's what he's referred to. It's not really about the Slender Man, even though it's taken from the Slender Man, because it's the operator. I guess maybe is there a trademark? I don't know. I think Slender Man is like open lore, right?
Yeah.
But
I think so.
They don't refer to him as Slender Man. Opens up. I was like, okay, cool. You know, I saw the credits. I saw fucking Doug Jones. I'm like, oh, beating off, right?
Right.
And then it opens up with found footage.
Wah,
And I go, And so I was hoping it was just the beginning that was found footage. But I was not so lucky. It's about a news crew who follows a trash company around as they clean out foreclosed houses. When they go to these foreclosed houses, this is a real thing too.
Yeah, I've done that actually. I did that for a summer
you
job.
keep stuff. You can keep stuff if you want.
I did.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's what this is about.
I found a bunch of porn doing that actually, like old school porn. Like
Sweet.
Yeah.
70s bush.
Yeah.
They go through a series of abandoned and thrash homes until they find one still fully furnished with pictures, everything. Like the people just up and left. Why would they leave? Who knows? Maybe Doug Jones. Family has just disappeared. Story is told through the combination of the footage they are shooting as a news crew and found family videos from the house. The good news about the found footage aspect of this movie is that the operator can only be seen through a camera. There's scenes that they can't see him, they get the camera to try to see him. Like, you can't see the bad guy unless it's through the lens.
It's like that video game Fatal Frame.
I do not know of what you speak.
Cool ass video game. You got to go through a haunted house and use a camera to see where the ghosts are.
Oh, that's cool.
The ghosts can fuck you up, even if you can't see them. And you got to hold them up, and they'll like pop out at you. It's actually a legit scary game. It's fun.
Cool. Well, the thing is, things are not as they seem.
Dun, dun, dun.
Found footage thing is fucking dead. It's over.
Fuck that. Fuck found.
I'm so over it.
F. Fuck found footage.
I don't ever want to see it again. So, acting is actually pretty decent.
Okay.
Competent actors in this one. There are some tense moments. Really, to where I was like jump scare kind of. You know?
Okay.
Whenever the Duke shows up, the sound cuts off in the camera. It goes.
Nice.
And it's found footage, and you know he's coming kind of.
Yeah, cool little Silent Hill effect. I like that.
Yeah. The flaws of this movie is there's not enough action. Not much happens. Other flaw to me is that if you're going to use the Dukes, put him in the movie more.
Right.
He's not in the movie much. He's barely in the movie.
Yeah. Feature him.
Feature the Dukes.
Yeah.
People will pay to see the Dukes.
I will. I'd pay to see the Dukes.
The Dukes. So, there's a cameo. You think it's the Dukes. This is the best part of the whole movie, and this is why I gave it a boosted rating. You think it's the Dukes walking in a room. It's a tall, slender man walking with that. The camera's not focused. He's walking down a narrow hallway. When the camera finally focuses, it's in a mental institution, like an asylum.
Okay.
When it finally focuses in, it's Angus Scrim, tall man. And it's not the dude.
Nice.
And he's a crazy guy at the mental ward.
Nice.
So that was pretty sweet.
I thought that guy was dead.
He is dead now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, R.I.P. Angus Scrim. Love that guy.
Yeah. Boy. With
Yeah.
his fucking death jaws.
But that was cool because it's like you could see him and he has Death Jawa. Phantasm 3 is the best one.
Oh, that's
it's
a
the most
great movie.
batshit crazy
Yeah.
one. Anyways, not to go off on a major tangent, you think it's the Dukes from this movie.
Right.
Comes to be him. You're like, oh, it's a real tall man. You know?
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Not paying attention to the clock. It was about an hour into this movie. And I'm like, okay, it's the end. I thought it had been about 2 hours. You know? And then I realized I still had another half hour to go.
Oh, shit.
IMDb gives it 4.9. I'll go ahead and give it a point for the Slender Man-ish costume. A point for the Tall Man cameo. 2 points for some creepiness. Minus 1 point for the found footage. A third of a point for a kind of cool ending that I didn't expect. And 3 points for the dude. So 6.3.
Wow.
If I know how to do math right, which is debatable.
That's above 50%.
6.3, yeah, it's alright. It's not a great movie by any means, but for me, not to turn off a found footage movie, they did some things right.
Okay. Nice. I have a suggestion before we go on to our good movies.
Okay.
And that is, since we didn't do horror news and we need to space our show out properly, we go to the Amazon commercial.
Okay, we need to do that.
Yes.
It's a great idea, so
And go click our link and buy some stuff.
we will be back.
Oh, I bought a cowbell on Amazon for the Texas bull rope match that we're doing for SenCal.
Really?
Yeah, so, and I used the click-through, so see if it pops up.
Okay. Using the click-through.
And buy a
Just
cowbell.
like you guys should be.
More cowbell.
Yeah, we need more cowbell on here on this podcast. We're going to get the cowbell. We're going to do it. That's what we're going to rate it in. Hits of the cowbell. Boom, 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 boom. That's how we're going to rate the movies. We're not going to do that. We're going to give you guys more of these rating systems that you love.
Yes. Yabba dabba dudes.
Yabba dabba dudes. And we'll be back after this quick word from our sponsors.
Hi, thanks for listening to the Post Mortem podcast. If you want to support us, go to our website at www.postmortemshow.com and click the Amazon link.
By clicking on the Amazon banner, Amazon will give a small percentage of the purchase price of your item back to the Post Mortem podcast at no additional cost to you. That's right. Doesn't cost you any money, we get money. You want us to keep doing this? You want more Doug Jones talk? You want more dick and fart talk? I don't care. We're going to do it.
Fund our filthy, filthy habits.
Yes, and they are many and they are fast.
And most of them aren't legal.
Yes. Click the banner. Just do it.
Come on, don't be a dick. Give us money.
And we're back!
With the good movie. I want to say, before we go into our good movies of this week, I watched Deathgasm.
Yeah!
Deathgasm was fucking excellent.
I told you.
I agree with everything that you said about that movie, and I would like to add that the main character in the movie looks like a young Shannon Ballard.
He does kind of look like a young Shannon Ballard.
But-
New Zealand Ballard.
Yeah, that movie was really, really good in every aspect. You know, it's very, very close to a perfect movie.
Yeah.
It had that like Metalocalypse humor to it that I really like,
Yeah.
and the bleeding drum set and all that shit. It was just all
Practical effects.
Yeah,
Besides that one little
yeah.
knife through the chest and that the electricity thing.
And the electricity I was fine with because the electricity reminded me of a bad 80s
You know
movie.
what? Shocker.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I love me some Shocker.
So I reiterate everything that you said about that movie.
That was the first 10-star rating.
And
10 star. What did we rate it last?
10 amphibious vaginas.
I gave it 10 amphibious vaginas.
And I will give it 10 amphibious vaginas as well.
All right. So,
It's definitely going on my top 100 list when I get that shit done.
hell yeah. Coming soon, the Post Mortem Top 100.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
now, It's not the time for the top 100.
No.
It's not the time for amphibious vagina.
It's time for Yabba Dabba Dudes.
It's time for Yabba Dabba Dudes, the good movie of the week.
Or in my case, the confusing movie of the week.
Okay.
Because this movie, for everything that it did wrong, it did something right. And I couldn't hate it, but I couldn't love it. It's a movie called #Horror that's on Netflix right now.
I have not subjected myself to this shit. You know what? I've actually heard good things about it, but just because it's called
I'm going to
#horror,
say good things about it.
That's why I waited so long with fucking Unfriended.
Yeah.
I was like, Unfriended? Facebook, chat, movie? Nah.
Well,
nope. Not gonna happen. Not gonna watch that shit, and it was okay.
Yeah, we're going to see more of that because it's the millennial generation now, and that's like millennial shit, you know, and we're going to have to not be the grouchy old men on the porch saying, get off my horror lawn with your hashtags and unfriended.
I'm 31 years old. Get the fuck out of here.
Back in my day, we didn't have hashtags, we didn't have hoosh-toogs or horse dogs.
That was called a fucking pound sign. That's a number sign you're running around with. Number horror?
No. I'll be honest, and I watched #Horror expecting it to be my bad movie.
Yeah.
I expected it to be like a 1 or a 2.
Don't you like that when you know, since we started this show, I have been watching movies I never would have ever clicked on.
Yeah.
I never would have ever subjected myself to.
Yeah.
And I watch them because I'm like, well, I need a
What's
good movie.
that one that
and
we
a bad
watched
movie.
with Thomas Jane and the cult and all that I gave a good review to?
Veils?
Yeah, The Veil.
Yeah,
I
The
never would
Veil.
have watched that.
Yeah, I never
Glad
watched
I
that
did.
shit ever. Yeah.
This is another one of those. This movie is the bastard child of Mean Girls and Natural Born Killers.
Never seen Never seen Mean Girls? Love Natural Born Killers.
Natural Born Killers is one of the best movies ever made. Mean Girls is actually quite funny. If you like that like Tina Fey kind of humor.
I like Weekend Update, but we're not going to spend time on Mean Girls. We're not the proper show for Mean Girls.
Yeah, that's true. Basically, the story of this movie is this group of 12-year-old girls. It's white privilege, the movie. This group of 12-year-old white girls have a slumber party at the house of this one girl whose mom's an artist.
Are they really like 21, even though they're supposed
No,
to...
they're 12. They're 12.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, legit 12-year-olds. I even went online and looked, and like, I think the oldest was actually 15.
Why are you Facebook talking 12-year-olds, Dom?
I do it all the time, man.
You're
It's
not,
my thing.
You're not welcome
It's
here
my
anymore.
thing. You ever see Catfish? I'm the fish.
I think you'd be the cat, though. Right?
Maybe.
No.
A catfish is a fish, though. It's not a cat.
I know, but you said you're the fish.
Yeah, because catfish, because I'm the
But
fish.
you'd be the cat.
Oh,
the fish.
yeah, I guess I'd be the person who keep doing... I'm the rod and reel. I'm the
Anyway.
Queeper Sutherland.
We're not talking about catfish. We're fucking Mean Girls, Dom.
Okay.
You bring up fucking Twilight, Mean Girls, catfish. Get the fuck out of here. This is the last episode of Post Mortem.
I'm fired.
You're fucking fired, Dom.
You're fired.
Clean out your locker at the club, Dom. Clean out your locker at the fucking club. You're fired.
So, this
You're not
movie...
fired. It's okay.
This movie is... Some of it plays out like an after-school special about bullying, but I think it's done that way on purpose to really highlight how fucking stupid these kids are.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of the movie is they get together, there's one nice girl who's new, there's the girl that invited the nice girl who is trying to be nice, but she has some psychological issues, and her dad's like a doctor who keeps feeding her pills.
Uh-huh.
And her dad is actually played by Timothy Hutton, who's a veteran actor, and is intense and fucking scary in this
Is he the
movie.
guy who plays the fat guy in Borat that they get naked and 69 each other?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's not him.
That's a different Timothy.
Yeah, that's a different guy.
Okay.
And so they have this party, and they're all on their cell phones and shit, and then they basically dare each other to like lock their cell phones in the safe so that they don't have the cell phones, and then they're like, oh shit, what the fuck do we do? And since they don't have their cell phones, they can't feed their addiction to...
Then they start killing each other.
They just get mean. They get meaner and meaner. But then, like, there's these weird, like, surrealistic dance breakdowns where they're all wearing, like, weird masks that look like they're wearing these weird masks that look like a cross between Barack Obama and Rick Moranis and doing these fucking weird-ass dance moves, and it's real fucking surreal. Yeah, it's...
Dude, that's a good concept. They put it in the... If they would have went there, they put the cell phones in the safe, and then they just start killing each other at, like, within...
Well... Ultimately, a murderer does show up. And it turns out that the murderer is stalking these girls and putting their pictures online to see how many likes they can get. And, like, when they post pictures of violence, they get more likes because they go and kill some other people. And then they show up and they start killing the fucking kids. And usually, you know, in horror movies, when they kill young kids, they kind of pull punches on it. They don't pull punches on
Gory,
this.
huh?
Fucking girls getting their throat slit, getting beat up in the basement. It's like I said, for everything that they do wrong, they do something right.
I started off with telling you you're not welcome around here when you're researching them. But I'm kind of intrigued because, you know,
it's
kid death is something, you know, it's usually not well done.
Right.
And
yeah, they don't fuck around with this one. They make it's pretty realistic. It's a slow build to it. The whole movie's a very slow build, but it's sort of setting this mood of disconnection, the disconnection that like social media addiction causes. And it's interesting that like I came across this movie on the day that I decided I was going to disconnect from Facebook. And
wait, I'm sorry, I do not mean to interrupt you. I have an idea.
Yeah.
When you see a bad movie that I've reviewed, and you like it, and you want it to be a good movie, I already have a bad movie you've reviewed.
Okay.
Right? When you have a good movie that was my bad movie, and a bad movie that was my good movie, and we can counteract each other, that would be a super show.
Okay. It's like,
you know what I mean?
It's like the movie battle royal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like so I already have one that was your bad movie, and I fucking loved it. And I think I'll watch this fucker. It'll probably suck.
Probably suck.
That's what inspired
No,
me.
you're going to watch it and you're going to be like, fuck, this is awesome. I'm going to give this 10 star. This is going to be the next 10-star movie. It won't be. Another cool thing that I like about this movie, it has cool like visual direction, and the director is part of an art collective. So there's a lot of cool like background art stuff. And they start bringing in weirder art stuff as one of the characters starts going progressively crazy. And that's cool. And it's got a really fucking cool sound design. Like, the music is this weird synthesizer dissonance stuff that is very ambient and very, like, noisy as the scene gets crazier. So, I've said it before, I've said it again. For everything this movie does wrong, it does something right. And I'm going to give it right down the middle. 5 out of 10. Yabba dabba dudes.
So, my good movie. 2015. Written and directed by Tom DeNucci. It's on Netflix now. You can stream this fucker on Netflix. It's called Almost Mercy. You seen it?
No.
Okay. Stars Danielle Golden as Emily, Jesse Dufault as Jackson, which are the two main characters. But they're not on the poster and all the fucking promotion of this movie. The two people that are on the promotion are two people near and dear to my heart. Kane Hodder.
Nice.
And Bill Moseley.
Wow. It's a good combo.
Yeah. They are characters in this movie. They're not the main characters, though.
Okay.
Kind of a pet peeve when you promote people who are a small bit role. But I will let it
this
go.
movie stars Danny Trejo for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Is Kane Hodder in makeup in this movie, or is he
No,
actually...
they're both people. Just normal people. Wow. No makeup, no nothing. So, it is a timeless story of revenge of the bullied to the bullies, but done in an interesting and humorous way. It's a horror comedy.
Okay.
I love me some horror comedy. I love me some horror fucking ultra fucking disturbing and serious, but for my money, a good horror comedy is what, you know, my favorite movie is Reanimator. Yeah. Like, the rewatchability of a good horror comedy, the quotability of the lines, I can't beat it. When
it's my favorite genre.
It's usually shitty, but when it's done right, it's fucking done right. Yeah. Like Deathgasm. Yeah. Like we talked about, So, it seems like something's going to happen. But then, it goes in a way you don't expect. It's got a little twist and turn.
Okay. Is the twist that it's not Bill Moseley?
No. Bill Moseley plays a priest.
Okay.
And Kane Hodder plays a gym teacher.
Nice. It's a good role for him.
There's a lot of fucking comedy. I really, really liked the character of Emily. The actress did a great job. It's cool that they use horror icons and casted them against type. They didn't make Kane Hodder the killer. Right. They didn't make Bill Moseley some crazy guy. He's a legit priest. And Kane Hodder's the fucking high school gym teacher that wants to party with the girls from high school.
Is he the party man? Does he know where the parties are, man?
So they use the name factor to draw you in. Like I said, even though that's a pet peeve of mine, I'll let it go for this. I started watching it when I was in bed one night, and it hooked me in so much that I stayed up and finished it, even though I had to get up early. I was watching it like 11:30, and I'd be up at like 6 in the morning.
Right.
Had a couple beers with me. I'm like, no, gotta finish it. gotta review it because you know what? It's a good movie. So I don't want to give away a lot of plot points since it's brand new. If you're a fan of horror comedies, or comedy horrors, check this out.
Or horse.
Or horse. I'll give it 8.1. Yabba dabba dudes.
Nice. And what was it called again?
Almost Mercy.
Okay.
It looks like a church movie on the poster.
Right.
It's like a background that says Almost Mercy. I never would have watched it if I didn't just watch it randomly.
Like one of those, like fucking The Conjuring or Annabelle, where it's like secretly Christian propaganda as a horror movie.
Yeah.
I watched Annabelle last night. That movie was fucking whack.
You know what? There's some creepy scenes in it.
Oh yeah, there was some, but like
I saw it in theaters. It's not great.
I just hate that like ultimately the Lord's mercy is the answer in horror movies.
Me too. And the thing is too that like this whole that group of people, Conjuring, Insidious, they're dying out because people are like, enough.
Yeah,
it's all the same shit.
Yeah. I mean, Insidious...
They would have made a couple of those movies?
Yeah, Insidious was okay for what it was. It had some stupid shit,
not
too.
bad.
Like
Sinister is the best one there.
Yeah, Sinister was for sure.
Yeah. Lawnmower Kids.
I also fucking hate Ed and Lorraine Warren and anything that's related to them. Those two people, I mean, they're already dead, so I guess they can die, but they fucking dirtbags. We've got this doll behind glass, and a priest comes and blesses it every, twice a month to save the world from its evil. Fuck you, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Fuck you beyond the grave.
All right, so
that's how I feel about that.
That was the bad movie, the good movie, the Yabba Dabba Dudes, and the fuck cocksuckers from beyond the grave.
That's right.
So
fuck now that should be a movie. Fuck cocksuckers from beyond the grave.
Tom, calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. We got to be professional.
That's right.
We have an interview to conduct.
We have an interview to conduct with an actual professional with a radio voice.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. On Post Mortem.
All right, guys.
But speaking of radio voices, you know what we have to play first?
What?
The best commercial in the history of awesome commercials.
Yes, I forgot. We have a radio voice. So, no, we're not back, but
we're here.
We have a radio voice.
Yeah.
So, before we get to Nathan Hamilton, the Son of Celluloid, the mad scientist of ultraviolence.
The picker of brains.
The picker of brains. Brains. We're going to give you a little commercial.
Best commercial ever.
And we'll be back after that with our guest.
May 15th, coming to the grassroots. It's Sencal Professional Wrestling.
Sunday, May 15th at the Graduate, 990 Industrial Way, San Luis Obispo, California. Sencal Pro Wrestling returns.
Tickets are available at sencalpro.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Post Mortem, the Son of Celluloid, the mad scientist of ultraviolence, the one and only Mr. Nathan Hamilton.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here on Post Mortem, ready to talk some horror. How's it going, guys?
Good, bro. How you been?
I can't complain. Wouldn't do any good if I did anyway.
So it has been quite a while since I saw you, since Carnage Cup 9.
Yeah, that's been a while, man.
Yeah.
It's been a while. But the memories of the bloodshed still remain.
Yes, and the Naughty Hill, or whatever the fuck it was. Naughty Pines.
Naughty Pines.
We had quite the little after party.
It was such a ridiculous hotel. There was a handprint in shit on the ceiling of our bathroom.
And I bet they never seen anything as bad as when we left that place. A bunch of drunken, bloody deathmatch wrestlers bleeding all over the place, looking like a murder scene in every single room.
Probably
we
not
rented
the
whole
first
thing
murder that
out.
happened there.
It was like a 12 little bungalow thing.
Was it like Motel Hell?
Yeah, pretty much. It takes all kinds of critters to make Naughty Pines fritters, man. But no, I think my favorite thing was when we checked in, the first question the guy asked me was, will you be staying all night?
A bunch of dudes show up. We're like, we
That's
just want them by the
a
minute.
Classy place.
Yeah, would you like it by the hour, half hour, quarter hour?
Yeah, right.
All right, so the main reason we wanted to have you on is we want to talk a little Frankenstein Created Bikers. We were looking forward to this. I didn't even hear about it. In being that you're my friend and you're in it, I had no idea until Dom brought it up on the show and told me about it, and I am fucking pumped up for this one.
Yeah, I saw the note about it, I think on Bloody Disgusting or something like that, and I'm like, that's kind of a silly title. What is this? And then I read the synopsis and all this stuff, and I was like, wow, this is going to be a fucking awesome movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are not prepared for what you're going to see in this movie. And I'm not just saying that because I play a pretty small part in it. And I was only on set for probably a week and a half, and I saw some crazy shit get filmed.
Nice.
And I didn't even get to see the weird stuff. I wasn't even there for that. So this movie is Jimmy Bickert, the guy who directed it, is an absolute genius, and he is a encyclopedia of exploitation film. Like someone like you or me or someone like that, as much as more as we know about horror movies as the average person, he knows that much more than us.
Wow.
And so he just took every influence he could think of and pulled from everyone and stuffed everything he could think of into this movie. So you may think you know where this movie's going, you don't.
Nice. Have you seen the final product yet?
I saw the final cut premiered at the Atlanta Film Festival, but they were still working on the audio track, so it wasn't quite finished. But it's the finished movie. They're just working on some audio stuff, and my mind was blown.
Nice.
So for our listeners who haven't heard of this movie yet, can you give us your synopsis?
Oh, good Lord. Okay. In a movie called Dear God, No, a group of bikers called the Impalers invaded a house not knowing there was the site of nefarious experiments involving Bigfoot. In this movie, everything gets taken to an entirely new level. The experiments are sicker, the monsters bigger, badder. The Impalers have to fend off not only these monsters, but Satan's Own, a rival biker gang, which I am a member of, and hired killers sent after them by Lawrence Harvey, and mad scientists, and Tristan fucking Risk coming after them.
Wow.
It's just a hodgepodge of insanity.
So this is a sequel to a movie?
Yes, this is the sequel to Dear God, No. Have you guys seen that one?
I have
No,
not.
I didn't know it was a sequel at
and
all.
I have a weird Bigfoot obsession too. Like I'm recording a hip hop album about smoking DMT with Bigfoot. So I need to see this movie now.
Oh yeah, it's bikers versus Bigfoot. How can you go wrong with that?
Yeah, well, that sounds like a good concept, but the Frankenstein Created Bikers sounds like it's taking it to a whole new level.
It is, and it's one of the cool things about this movie. It was shot on Super 35 millimeter.
Nice.
This was not shot digitally. It very well might be the last independent film you will ever see shot in 35.
That's awesome.
Because it's completely cost prohibitive and so hard to shoot, and there's so much that goes into it. But because it was shot on it, it has that warmth and that texture, and it's not fake film grain. It has the actual thing. So it's way more authentic than any of these throwbacks you're going to see. And it's not really a throwback. It's just exploitation done 70s style with new millennium flair.
Nice. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. We're going to have a viewing party and get it when it's on demand or order the DVD. You probably don't know how it's going to be released as far as how we can see it, right? It's not going national or anything, right?
I am not 100% sure yet. I believe it's about to start doing the rounds of the film festivals, and the plan is to have it on physical media and VOD later this year. So it'll probably be, if I were to guess, don't quote me on this, I'm not an official spokesperson for the movie or anything, but it'll probably be sometime late summer, early fall.
Okay, and when it is released, and we have a chance to watch it, we would like to have you back on to talk some Frankenstein Created Bikers again.
Oh, sounds good to me. Actually, there's an interesting thing in this movie. I was parts of my wardrobe went missing throughout the movie. So every time you see me wearing a different bandana, drink.
All right, we will do so. I have no problem doing that.
That's the Frankenstein Created Bikers drinking game.
That's awesome. So
it was kind of, there was one location that we shot. It was, you guys watch Walking Dead?
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, I watch it. I mean, it has went downhill as far as I'm concerned. That last cliffhanger was pretty cool, but I'm still watching it religiously. Fear of the Walking Dead, not so much.
Right. No, me neither. It went way downhill, but the last season was pretty... Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. We used one of their locations, and it's this old textile mill. And it was probably 150 degrees up there. And I completely regret. They gave me the option that I could just wear a biker vest, or I could wear my leather jacket with the vest over it. And of course, they asked me in the fall when it was cool. I'm like, nah, that's gonna look badass. Have my leather with the vest over it and all.
Like Triple H.
Yeah, exactly, pretty much. And I regretted that decision every minute I had to wear it in that 150-degree fucking warehouse, man. But it wasn't as bad as the guy in the Bigfoot suit. I don't know how, Jim Stacy is his name. I don't know how he survived that shoot.
Frankenstein created sweaty bikers.
Yes, absolutely. And some of the talent that he brought in for this, because you've got almost the entire, pretty much the entire cast from the original coming back. And a lot of those are local actors who are basically playing amplified versions of themselves. Like, you guys know, in professional wrestling, the best characters are the ones who are the person just turned way up.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
And that's basically how these characters were written. Like, it was written for, Jimmy's buddies. And these are those characters just turned up. So they're all back. We brought in Lawrence Harvey, who destroys it in this movie. This is... it might be neck and neck with...
is he the Human Centipede 2 guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And this is probably neck and neck with that as his best performance.
Wow. I might be the minority. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go on, man.
I might be the minority, but I actually like Human Centipede 3 a lot.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah, that movie's totally batshit fucking insane.
Yeah, people talk shit about it, but it was fucking weird. And
I wasn't really huge on that one, but Lawrence was awesome in it.
Oh, yeah.
I like the Doctor still, too. He was completely overacting ridiculousness, and Gangrel's in that. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yep.
Gangrel is on the Centipede. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
one of the prisoners.
Huh.
Fucking Dave.
But what's funny, if you meet Lawrence, after you see, Human Centipede 2, you're expecting this just deranged, psychotic motherfucker.
Yeah.
But he is the sweetest, most erudite, well-spoken English gentleman. It's fucking nothing like you would expect. Nothing.
That's awesome.
And of course, Ellie Church. Have you guys seen Time to Kill or Harvest Lake?
Yes, Harvest Lake I saw.
I have not seen it. I've been trying to get my hands on that. Is it on Amazon or like Instant Watch or anything?
Harvest Lake just hit VOD via Vimeo last night.
Okay, I think I looked it up before it came out or something.
Yeah, it is currently available. So the team from that movie, Ellie Church and Tristan Risk, are both in Frankenstein Created Bikers. And they both give great performances. I mean, the acting in this movie is incredible. Myself, of course, included. But
brings me to bring up another thing. Picking Brains. That's where I heard of Harvest Lake. That's what inspired me to look it up, see if it was available. I couldn't find anything. I was confusing it with Eden Lake, which I'd already saw. I'm like, oh, I saw that. Wait, that's not what he said.
Right.
And so I was looking for it, and I couldn't find it streaming anywhere. I could not find video on demand or anything. I guess because it just came out last night. But let's talk a little bit about Picking Brains.
man, it makes me so happy to hear that you heard about that movie on Picking Brains and went out and got it, because that's why me and Brad do the Picking Brains podcast. Picking Brains is a podcast that me and my partner Brad Slayton do. He had it for about 2 years, and then I came in, and we've been doing it for 2 years since. And our whole thing is we love movies, we love the classics, and we have a real passion for independent horror cinema. And anytime someone says they heard about a movie on there, and then they went and checked it out and they dug it, that thrills my heart, because that's exactly why we do it.
Yeah. Also, one can't wait to check out that you were talking about, and I looked it up. I watched the preview. I haven't got a chance to stream it yet because been slammed with work and everything, but Dr. Spine is another one I heard about from you guys.
Dr. Spine is so good. It's an EC Comics story come to life.
Nice.
Like, just the camera angles and the lighting they use really kind of evokes that feeling that they used to have in those comics, and yeah it's really fun.
Yeah, it's like Creepshow turned up. You know how Creepshow, Dom,
Yeah.
it looks like a old school EC comic? Well, it's like that times 10.
Nice.
It has like a filter on it or something, huh?
Yeah,
make it
it,
look like it.
looks like a comic book.
That sounds really cool.
So I will be watching that this weekend, so I'll probably
Awesome.
be
Very
reviewing
cool.
it soon. When I get some time to pull the trigger on that motherfucker, I'm going to go for it. So
Awesome. You'll have to let me know what you think.
another thing I wanted to talk to you about Picking Brains was fucking Joe Bob Briggs from Monster
Oh,
Vision.
my God, Joe Bob Briggs. Both me and Brad grew up wanting to be Joe Bob Briggs.
We all did.
'Cause,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, with Monster Vision. Everyone has either like that cool friend or like the guy at the video store or something. It's like, hey, have you seen this? Have you seen this? It like showed you a lot of your favorite movies and all that
Yeah.
shit. Joe Bob was that guy for us. watching, Monster Vision and him, saying, hey, here's this movie, and this scene had tits cut out of it, so go see it if you can see it, that kind of thing. Like, he was exactly what I wanted to be. And when I started Son of Celluloid, the blog, and started writing, I ended every review with Nathan says check it out as an homage to Joe Bob, because that's how he always ended his reviews. And he's like, he is our podcast spirit animal.
Dude,
so
he's like your podcast uncle now. Seriously, like listening to your show. You guys start off with the pledge. Every show that that he does. If you guys are a Post Mortem listener and you haven't checked out Picking Brains, we endorse Picking Brains to the fullest. That shit is amazing. It's a great podcast. We're not the type, just like you aren't, to try to be like we're the only horror podcast. No. Picking Brains is awesome. You guys need to look.
Yeah, there are 2 horror podcasts: Post Mortem and Picking Brains. Clearly,
no, there's many more.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I really do appreciate that. Yeah, I don't get the whole rivalry between podcasts or blogs or anything like that. I like that the horror scene is already a fairly small group. Why would you want to fracture it further? That just hurts everybody.
Yeah. It's like metalheads being like, this is metal, but this isn't metal, and you're a poser, but you're not a poser. Yeah. Like, fuck you, you fucking douchebag. It's all entertainment.
Yeah.
There are a lot of parallels between the metal scene, the horror scene, and the indie wrestling scene. I've always said those 3 are, they're almost the same scene. As people get holier than thou, want to split it, but the rest of us are just like, no, let's all be a family and dig what we dig and celebrate this thing that we're all into. And that's the way I feel about horror,
Yeah. And we appreciate you endorsing us and, sharing our shit and telling people to subscribe, listen to Post Mortem, since we are a lot newer than Picking Brains, and we really do appreciate that. And it's the same thing, like you said, like you listen to a lot of horror podcasts, a lot of them are not that good, and you give us a thumbs up, so that means a lot. And that's what we try to do for you guys, too. Link to you guys and everything.
You guys, it's like, because when I told Brad about you guys' podcast, and I introduced him to it, I'm like, they are basically just like us. They're 2 buddies who are passionate about horror, just sitting there talking about what they love. And that's exactly how a lot of podcasts get way too pretentious.
Yeah.
And it's better when it's just people sitting around talking about what they love.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually finish probably in between 6 to 15 beers during the show, which is about 55 minutes, because constantly talking and constantly have to wet the whistle.
I'm gonna take a shot of whiskey on that note.
All right.
There we go.
I need to learn to drink more, man. Like,
no, Don, what the fuck?
You're a pussy. I'll just bring my bong over here.
No, you will not.
Yeah, that's true. You got kids.
I remember, JD, you would hit that flask every time I passed it to you at Carnage Cup. So
of course, and that moonshine. I had some genuine Tennessee moonshine for the first time in my life.
Nice.
Yeah.
I drink some moonshine if there's some moonshine here. I like shine,
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, we had a good time out there, man. And I was supposed to be back for number 10. Did not happen because of budget reasons. The flight from California is expensive, so we'll see in the future. We'll see what the future brings. So
I would love to see you in a Nathan Sadistic Playground match.
Oh, I'm down for anything.
That would be so much fun.
I don't know if you saw King of the Death this year. Oh no, you were there, right?
I was there.
That was the last time I saw you. Yeah. And,
that's right. I was drunk as fuck. I barely remember that shit.
Yeah,
because I was at a horror convention in Indianapolis that weekend.
Uh-huh.
And so I drove down to come to the show, and it got rained out night 1, and I wasn't able to come night 2.
I know we were supposed to be next. Fuck.
Right, because I had to go back and host a Joe Bob Briggs panel the next morning, and so I got home from that and drank all night, and then barely maintained my upright position on stage while I was hosting a Joe Bob Briggs panel. So it all worked out.
Yeah, I was actually happy it got rained out because, even having like 3-4 hours sleep in 2 days, me and Brian Woods fucking tore it up. Night 2,
yeah,
match.
You guys destroyed it out there.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But that's enough about wrestling. We're not the wrestling show.
Enough.
We're going to kind of put that on the back burner.
Exactly.
Let's talk Son of Celluloid. So I've looked at your website a lot since we became friends. You're one of my go-to people about horror movies. To where
thank you.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Like as far as like indie stuff I might not have heard of, I always check up on it, see what you share, ask you questions occasionally on Facebook. Like what's out there, what should I check out? And you've turned me on to a lot. I think I I think I actually found Found and Headless from you too, or
Sweet.
Headless.
God, those two are so good.
Yeah, Headless from Found, but I found Found through you, I think. So, yeah,
Found. Who's on first?
yeah, Found.
But no, that's cool because, like I said, it's the same with the podcast. The whole reason I started Son of Celluloid was I had necrotizing fasciitis, which you guys know what that is.
Yeah,
that's the flesh-eating bacteria.
Is that like a zombie Hitler? Necrotizing fasciitis?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, okay.
And so I was laid up in bed for a year, and I needed something to do, somewhere to put my energy. And I had gotten all these horror movies to watch while I was down, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start writing about it. I have a fucking film studies degree. I might as well do something with it. So I started writing about those, and then this thing started happening because I was kind of championing independent horror, people started, messaging me and saying, hey, you want to review my movie? Hey, you want to check out my flick? Blah, blah. And that's what I love about it because it's so grassroots. And and I will always review it honestly. I've had a couple people get pissed off at me because of that.
I gave you my movie for free. I shipped it to you and you shit on me.
Dude, you have no idea how often that has happened.
Well,
and the good reviews. I gave one movie, fuck it, I'll say its name, Orphan Killer.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? Yeah.
I
gave that movie, I used to do severed thumbs up and severed thumbs down. I gave it 1.5 severed thumbs up, and that was not good enough. Dude was pissed.
Really?
Yeah. So
it wasn't that good to me, yeah. But anyways.
Yeah, you're not going to make everybody happy, but like I said, the whole reason is so I can find these movies and say, hey, everybody, you probably haven't heard of this, but by some chance I did. Please check this out. And that's what podcasts like you guys and other bloggers and everything, that's what I'm talking about with the horror scene that really needs to feed itself. And, if you see a cool movie, put it out there. Tell people about it. Because that, movies that don't have advertising budgets and can't, have big, marketing campaigns, that's how the word spreads. That's how people find out.
Yeah, it's like punk rock. It's like like you said, like a grassroots thing,
Whole DIY movement. Yeah. You got to DIY advertise. You got to guerrilla market.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Well,
and hey, it comes with the added benefit of getting to watch movies for free. So
yeah, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I want some movies for free too.
Right, everybody, if you're listening, send your movie to Post Mortem, and they will review it on air.
We will. And
there you go.
We will also give you an honest review, just like Nathan.
Good.
It might be good. It might be bad. It might be ugly.
What I always say, there is no such thing as a perfect movie, and there's no such thing as a movie with no redeeming value. So if I absolutely hate your movie, there's a good chance I will praise something about it.
Yeah.
Like, there have been a couple really shitty movies I reviewed, but I've been like, whoever did the lighting did a really good job. Or I'll be like, this movie is slow, nothing happens, but this one dude gives an amazing performance.
You mean like the Volturi in Twilight?
Fuck that. I told you never to fucking bring that up again. That was the almost end of the show. What are you doing? You trying to sabotage us?
I don't consider those movies.
I don't either. And but I do disagree with you, Nathan.
Okay.
You said there's no perfect movie, there's no imperfect movie. I'll give you an example of a perfect movie. The perfect movie. A little movie called Reanimator. It's a perfect movie.
Oh, fuck. You may have me there, man. You may have me there.
I can't imagine anything I would change about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't change anything about that movie.
Speaking of Twilight, I had a short-lived...
No, not speaking of Twilight.
No, hang on. I had a short-lived YouTube show, and the very first episode opens on a scene of a close-up of a TV showing Twilight until a sledgehammer swings through the goddamn TV.
Nice.
Awesome.
That is what I think of Twilight. So.
It's not really a movie so much as feces on celluloid.
Yeah.
I'm glad I stopped screaming and let you finish that.
So you can go to YouTube and search Son of Celluloid and find a bunch of interviews I did and all 7 episodes of the Son of Celluloid show and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, and you also have, let's see here, I got all your links up here. So if you guys want to read Son of Celluloid blogs, he does reviews, he does a bunch of shit. It's sonofcelluloid1.blogspot.com. If you want to check out the Picking Brains podcast, it's picking-brains.com.
With a cool little graphic of Marty Feldman there.
Yep. Exactly.
Looks like he's shooting the brain.
That's the idea.
So, you are our second guest here on Post Mortem, and the first guest that's coming along with us for the top 5 of the week.
Yes, I'm excited, man. I'm one of those guys. I don't want to just come in. I want to get involved. I want to get in on the whole thing.
This list was suggested to us by our listener Antoine from Valdosta, Georgia.
There's no crazier horror fans than Georgians.
Yeah, I know, and you're one of them, right? Or close to it.
That would be me, just outside of Atlanta.
Yep, and that's why you guys filmed near Walking Dead, probably too, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's where they filmed that shit.
All over Atlanta.
Well,
there's all kinds of, we found this really cool lake to shoot at, and there's a bunch of scenes out in the woods, and there's a bunch of scenes in this warehouse, and we also shot a lot at the Silver Scream Effects Lab, which used to be the Atlanta Zombie Apocalypse Haunted House. But Shane Morton, he headed up the effects team. The effects in that movie were made. Marcus Cook worked on it, who is one of the best.
I always thought it was Marcus Koch till I listened to your show. That's actually why I realized it was Marcus Cook, because it spelled like Koch.
I did too, until the first time I hosted a panel with him on it. And before the show, I will go up to everybody and make it a habit and say, tell me exactly how to pronounce your name. And that's how I found out. So you're not alone in thinking it was Koch.
Yeah, so all right, so top 5 eaten it alive. Usually we do some limited things, usually we say like, top 5 vampires that aren't Dracula,
that aren't Dennis.
Yeah, top 5 minor characters that aren't Dennis.
Dracula.
And then fucking Dom forgets, and he makes his number 1 Dennis.
My number 1 is always Dennis. Dennis is my number 1 in all things. He's my Valentine. He is my heart, my soul, and my inspiration. Without Dennis, what good am I?
I'll give you one better. Doug Jones could beat Dennis in a fight. I don't care about his kung fu.
I don't know,
Doug
man.
Jones is the official mascot of the Post Mortem show.
I think if Dennis and Doug Jones collided, everything would just go nuclear and cease to exist.
They just leave a trail of destruction in its wake.
They would meld together like the end of Tetsuo the Iron Man, and their love would destroy the universe.
Yes.
Or the
Godzilla and King Ghidorah.
Or that ABC's of Death where they're farting, those Japanese girls, and then it's awesome. All right, we're going way off the rails. We said we're going to go top 5 in the live scene soon. So, being the guest, sir, I will say, will you please go first?
Oh, I'm up first. Okay, well, you said you usually do limiting things. I actually limited myself on this one. Mine is all people eating people alive.
Okay.
Awesome.
People who eat people are the luckiest people in the world.
Nice. Now, my number 5 comes from, it's a very mainstream flick, and some people might not even consider it a horror flick. But this scene is just batshit insane, and that is Hannibal Lecter feeding Ray Liotta his own brain in Hannibal.
All right.
That is a scene. That's my number 1, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's my number 2.
I love that scene.
That's my number 2.
And I'll hold off on talking any more about it until we get there.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when it's Dom's number 1. So, all right. Dom?
My number 5 was almost an honorable mention because it wasn't so much an eating, but there was an eating element involved, and it's one of the first person biting a thing off another person's scenes I've ever seen in my life. And it's a scene in Warlock in the kitchen where he grabs the gay dude and bites his tongue out of his mouth and blah, right in the frying pan. And it's just remained in my mind for my whole life. And every time I see Julian Sands, the next image that comes up in my mind is that tongue in the frying pan.
You know what I think of? Barnes.
Jason likes Barnes.
There's a Barnes scene.
I always think of Boxing Helena.
That's a great movie.
There's a Barnes scene in Warlock. I'll leave it at that. Just Barnes. Barnes, bro.
Yeah.
My number 5, send more paramedics.
Nice.
Return of the Living Dead.
Nice.
I did not go animal attacks, but I do have some varied things.
Nice.
So.
I actually, I didn't go with animal attacks, and I didn't go with zombies.
Okay, so we all limited ourselves. Mine being the easiest, most mainstream, probably. I actually went pretty obvious. I usually come a little, off the back burner, but this time I went pretty obvious, so send more paramedics. I love that scene.
It's a great
I love
scene.
that movie. That's another movie that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, the thinking, talking zombies are so much creepier.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous, too, that they would do that, you know? But it makes you laugh. It's comic relief. So that's my number 5.
Awesome. Are you ready for number 4?
We're at number 4.
All right, number 4, we're going with Cannibal Ferox, with the scene where Giovanni Lombardo Radice basically gets the same treatment as the monkey from Faces of Death.
Yes.
Oh,
Great
They
scene.
stick his head up through the table and just lop the top off of it and start munching brains.
no, not that monkey. Why'd you have to remind me of that shit? I haven't thought about that poor little monkey in years, but yeah. People, fuck them up. Monkeys, not so much. Makes me sad.
Little side note here. The 20th anniversary release of Faces of Death has the best audio commentary of all time.
Really?
Because the director tells you exactly what's real, exactly what's fake, and the insane lengths they went to fake some of that stuff. It is fucking fascinating. That is the best director's commentary on anything I've ever heard.
Yeah, I bet, because a lot of it's fake, but some of it's real, and fuck. That scarred me as a kid. Scarred me so much as to make me have a home business making VHS copies of European exploitation films that no one could even get, even if they wanted to buy them, and Faces of Death, Traces of Death, things like that. When I was like 12 years old, or maybe younger, like 11.
I did a lot of horror tape trading in my younger days. So we may have done business at some point.
I know. I got my mom banned from eBay from selling duped European exploitation movies, but
nice.
No one could get them. That was before the internet was so strong, so you can get anything. You can find anything.
Yeah, I used to have to do tape trades over mail in high school, like before, like when it was just like dial-up, like BBS shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so number 4, Dom.
My number 4 is my only non-human on the list, and it's Old Boy, Daisu eating the octopus. Because that shit was real.
What do you mean? I guess that's the octopus being eaten.
The octopus was eaten alive for real, tentacles wrapping around his face. That motherfucking actor chomped that thing down alive.
That is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen.
It is, and that's why it's number 4 on my list.
Ugh.
Agreed.
My number 4, you guys might laugh at me a little bit, but young JD, many, many years ago, got a little creeped out by this. There's an actor that was in Gremlins, old Asian man, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Character actor, good guy. In a little film called Tremors.
Yeah, he was also Egg Chen in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. Walter Chang in Tremors, getting eaten. For some reason, it creeped me out because of the look on his face as he went down. No!
Oh, yeah.
No!
That's on my honorable mentions.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
When I was a little kid, I remember being at my grandmother's house in Oregon and watching that, and it creeped me the fuck out. So that's my number 4, Mr. Walter Chang and his convenience store. Getting eaten by the graboids.
Graboids.
Let's go to
That is such a great name, Graboids.
Yeah. And he had his graboid stand. He's going to sell them. Take pictures with the graboids. Number 3.
My number 3 comes from Anthropophagus. Joe D'Amato flick.
Yeah,
George Eastman's creepy as hell in this flick, and he's done all this. He's eaten people the entire movie. He's eaten a fetus out of a chick, all kinds of crazy stuff. But at the end, my favorite scene, he gets hacked open with a hatchet, and his guts start to spill out, and he looks down with hands full of guts and can't help himself and starts eating his own entrails.
What is this movie called?
Anthropophagus.
And it's also called the Grim Reaper. You can find it as that too.
Okay, I'll have to look that up.
You never heard of that?
No, I've never heard of that.
Really? It's
Yeah.
old school.
The Grim Reaper, however, doesn't have the fetus eating scene in it. That's the cut version.
Oh, it's an edit?
Yes, that was the American release. Yeah, Anthropophagus has the infamous fetus eating scene, but yeah, that is one of the only instances of auto cannibalism I can think of, and it definitely is worthy of being on the list.
That's awesome.
All right. So,
My number 3 is the opening scene of Cannibal the Musical, where Alfred Packer goes on the rampage and he's biting chunks off of people and ripping arms off and beating people with them and blood spewing out of his mouth. It's all fantasy, at the trial recount, but Trey Parker going on a murder rampage made me very happy.
I love that movie.
Yeah. Spadoinkle.
That shit is awesome.
Are you looking at my eye?
That shit is awesome. My number 3, a lot of people didn't take too kindly to this movie. I liked it. Green Inferno. What do you think about it, Nathan?
Green Inferno was about half of a really good flick.
Yeah. My number 3 scene is completely fucking ridiculous. The guy tries to distract the cannibals to get out of the cage by getting them stoned. But then he realizes, oh no! And he actually says it, oh no! They have the munchies! And then they go and eat them. Completely fucking ridiculous.
It's a great line.
It almost took you out of the movie because it tried to be serious at first, and then that was so fucking ridiculous that it almost took you out, but it's so memorable. That's what I remember most about that whole fucking movie, so that's why I said number 3.
Not the CGI ants?
Yeah, that was terrible. CGI ants. We go on tangents every episode, mostly, about CGI. Fucking CGI. We do too. God damn it.
So there's another movie. There's another scene from that same movie that's almost equally as good, where they is the first actual kill once they get to the camp. The big black dude where they cut his legs and arms off and stick him in the oven.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, and that's what they said too when they were eating him. Anyway, number 2.
Number 2, mine comes from Burial Ground, Night of Terror. You guys familiar with this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's, of course, he's supposed to be a 12-year-old boy. He's actually played by Peter Bark, who's a 26-year-old dwarf. And he has this weird incestuous thing going on with his mom throughout the movie. And there's one scene where he's all feeling up on, like, him and mom are sitting on a couch, and he's totally rounding second base going for third.
Yeah.
And she, says, no, stop, what are you doing? And he runs off and runs afoul of zombies, and she can't find him. So she finds him later on in the movie. And the first thing she does is whip out a titty, which, is just weird. And, clutches him close to her bosom and says, I know you want to, just like when you were a child. And what does he do? He starts munching down on that titty.
Dude, I cannot believe I didn't think of that. I got that as a VHS tape from fucking Blockbuster. I don't know what the Blockbuster by my house was on, but they had that movie there. And they had it unrated, uncensored.
Wow.
And it had warnings on it. It said, do not... Yeah. My local Blockbuster had it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe the guy who was working there at the time ordered it. Or, that kind of thing. It's got to be something like that. But they had that VHS tape. And I rented it. I used to do this thing when I was a young... I came from a poor family, me and my mom. And she would rent me Blockbuster. And I knew it was my only chance. And I think back that it wasn't too good of me to be duping all these VHS tapes, but I had to do it.
I worked at Blockbuster and copied their entire horror section, so I had it all.
So I had a copy of that movie when I was I want to say 11.
Nice.
That was one of the movies actually that was on my little horror site on eBay. It was called Punk Horror Video, and I would sell duped VHS tapes of punk concerts and hard to find horror movies.
Nice.
Very cool.
So
yeah, that movie is probably the just biggest collection of what the fuck is going on here that's ever been put on film.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking out there.
I support that. My number 2 comes from We Are What We Are, which is a very slow little cannibal movie.
Yeah.
The original or the remake?
I actually have never seen the original one. I've not been able to find it. It's the remake.
Okay.
But the scene where Rose and Iris eat Frank.
Nice.
At the dinner table. You know, he has the little monologue about family and goes in to give his daughter a kiss because she looks so much like her mother, and she just chomps down. And the other daughter goes for the hand and chomps down. And the little boy's like, what the fuck's going on?
I watched this movie, right? And I heard so many good reviews, and I didn't think it was that great.
It was
and
real
maybe
slow.
Because it was a remake. I didn't even realize there was an original.
I have not been able to find the original anywhere. It was slow. I actually had to watch it in 3 sittings because I kept falling asleep.
Yeah.
But that scene almost makes the slowness worth it because it was all a build up to that.
Yeah. What do you think about it, Nathan?
I dug it. When I think that year it was number 4 on my top 10, if I'm not mistaken.
The remake or the original?
The remake. I actually
really?
think this is one of those rare instances where I actually like the remake better.
Oh, cool. Well,
which is very, very rare.
Yeah. Just like Let Me In, right? Don't you like that more than Let Me In?
Oh, dear fucking God.
or the Cabin Fever remake.
Yeah, the Cabin Fever remake.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What the fuck? God damn it.
I tried to watch it on HBO Go a couple nights ago, and I got about 10 minutes into it, and I was like, no.
The Cabin Fever?
Yeah.
I told you.
It was free. It was free, and
I
had
don't
nothing
care.
else to do.
They'd have to pay me, and I still wouldn't watch it. That shit was horrible.
Yeah, it was
but
bad.
The distribution company sent that to me to review. And I watched it and emailed them back. I'm like, you don't want me to review this movie. Okay, cool. That's fine.
Yeah, dude, that was fucking bullshit. Why do you even remake such a recent movie? I understand when they do it like, hey, we're going to make an American version of Martyrs. I get why they do it. That shit was fucking terrible. It was a bad idea, but I understand they're trying to capitalize on something great from another country that some people in the mainstream have not heard about. But Cabin Fever was by Eli Roth. Like 10 years ago or some shit? What the fuck?
Yeah,
Why
you don't
even
need to
remake
fuck with that yet.
You know? Yeah, fuck.
Exactly.
Ah! Okay.
Fucking remakes.
Whose turn is it?
Yours, number 2.
Okay,
Take the number 2.
My number 2, like I said, Hannibal brain eating scene.
Yep.
/ it was tied
Oh,
with the pig scene from Hannibal.
that's a great scene, too.
Yeah.
That guy was creepy as fuck with the deformed face.
It was Gary Oldman under that makeup.
Yeah, I love that movie. That's a fucking good movie.
Yeah, real good movie.
Yeah, it's a great flick.
It's almost like, to me, it's almost like some kind of dark comedy too. It's actually got some humor in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs, one of my top 10 horror movies of all time.
Yeah. Red
Right,
Dragon
that-
was real good, too.
Which one?
Yeah.
Red Dragon?
Yeah,
Red
that was
Dragon
good.
scary.
The
He's
mirror
actually
eyes and
one of the
shit.
scariest, like, cinematic bad guys. Like, if we do a top 10, he's going to be on that list for me.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
scariest. Yeah.
We should do top 5 sympathetic killers.
I could think
That'd be a
of a few.
good list.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
You know, because you got people like Jason. You know, that's really ultra mainstream right in your face, but was drowned as a little deformed kid. You know, that kind of stuff. You got mileage out of that.
I feel that way about most of the Cenobites because really I can very much understand the need to remove people's flesh.
Yeah, me too. Good time.
Well, how about Leatherface?
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
Good time.
That's what happens when you take a retard and let him live with a bunch of psychos. They make that.
He just needed an artistic outlet.
So that's actually what's going to happen to David.
All right. So,
Actually, speaking of Leatherface, am I the only one that saw that scene of Hannibal feeding Ray Liotta his brain and kind of thought dinner scene from Texas Chainsaw
Oh,
Massacre?
for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's just
With
talk
Julianne
about that.
Moore
I
in
know-
the Marilyn Burns role, you know.
I know it's Dom's number 1, but we're on it right now. So let's just talk about the Hannibal brain eating.
I love Ray Liotta as an actor. He's
Me
one
too.
of my favorite actors. I have an alternate personality called El Ray Liotta, the Italian luchador. It's like a wrestling persona that I want to do as a commentator. But I'm a big fan of Ray Liotta. And one of the things that like Ray Liotta is very like he doesn't get a lot of credit for is how good he is with his facial expressions, especially his eyes. Like he just lets his eyes tell the story of whatever he's feeling. And that whole scene where he's just like kind of placid and happy and drugged up and eating his own brain and enjoying it.
Good.
Yeah, like he just played every part of it so fucking perfectly.
Yeah.
He deserves an award of some kind for it.
And I love the interplay between him and Anthony Hopkins. Like, if you can't mind your manners, stay out of the conversation.
Anthony Hopkins is great.
It's just great.
And we talked about this on a previous podcast, but Julianne Moore,
Oh yeah, yeah,
Little Red Bush,
big fan.
I'm there.
In that extremely low-cut black dress.
Yes.
That scene.
And like she's getting up there in her years and stuff, but still, fuck. Have you seen Maps of the Stars, Nathan?
No, I have not.
Check it out.
It's on my list.
I reviewed it. I give it a pretty positive review. There's some things I would could have done without, but she's in that. She looks pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Ginger MILF. And she did a good job as Clarice, you know?
Yes, she did. Very good.
All right.
Although it was, like, I didn't think at first that I could accept anyone else as Clarice.
Me too, yeah.
You know, that I thought it would be weird, but it ended up working.
Yeah, I think that she was the perfect choice if they had to replace her.
I agree.
Either that or what would have worked too is if they had Jodie Foster replace her but act like Nell from the movie Nell. In the well. In the well. No? No one agrees?
I'm never going to be able to watch that scene the same way again.
In the well.
This is a movie mashup that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Silence of the Knell.
Silence of the Knell.
Migs, I can smell your cunt.
Flick.
So, in the wind. You smell my cunt in the wind. All right, give us your number one, Nathan.
All right, number one. It's from a flick called Grim Love. Now, this flick did have Felicity in it, but ignore her because half of the movie is her, and half of the movie is this other story. It's based on a story of this German cannibal who found someone online who was willing to be eaten.
Oh, yeah, I know the story, yeah.
Familiar with this story?
Yeah, actually, I was...
Didn't they eat his dick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually been adapting that to write as a short story based on that.
Nice.
Like a first-person short story based on that story.
Is it going to be called Dick Eaters, a Love Story?
Nice.
Proceed.
Right. Half of this movie is her investigating the story, and half of it is actually a dramatization of the story. And this movie, like, it becomes like this weird, beautiful love story between these two dudes. And there's one scene that's like straight up fucking heartbreaking where it is the penis eating scene. What they do is the guy has, you know, drank cough syrup and booze, and he's getting all, you know, woozy, and they find, and his whole fantasy is for the other guy to actually bite off his dick and eat it. He can't. He can't get through it.
Yeah, because it's
he cuts it off
it's
with
too
a knife.
rubbery, he says. In the actual testimony, he's like,
Yeah.
I tried to bite it off, but it was too rubbery. Yeah.
Yeah, so they
I
cut
didn't
it
know.
off.
I didn't even know this was a movie, dude. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's a great movie. There was this one, and there's also a movie called Cannibal. It was Marion Dora. It was a German flick.
Cannibal,
it was based
love
on the
story?
same story.
Yeah.
No, it's just called Cannibal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it came out 2006, if I'm not mistaken. It's a German flick, kind of hard to get your hands on, but it's a more like extreme horror version of this one. This one isn't really gory. It really goes into the psychology of these two guys. And after he cuts his dick off and he cooks it, they're sitting at the dinner table, each with a plate full of cock, and the one guy is bleeding to death. And like he has gone on the whole movie about how this will bring fulfillment to his life if this happens. And he's picks up a piece and tries to chew it and spits it back out and says, "It's too tough." And then his head collapses on the table and he goes, "It was supposed to be perfect."
Oh,
I had a fucking old Yeller moment watching that movie. And it's like, that's crushing.
And what is the title of this movie again?
It's called Grim Love with 2 M's.
Okay.
And if you can take a dick-eating scene and infuse it with such emotional gravitas that, like, I got misty over it,
That's awesome, dude.
you are doing something right.
That's
so
awesome.
my number one is definitely the final cannibal scene from Grim Love.
I will be checking that out, definitely. And
I'm keeping a little list here. I've got Grim Love. I've got Dear God No.
that kind of reminds
That's going
me
to
of...
be an excellent double feature.
Have you ever seen the Ed Gein By the Light of the Moon?
Ed Gein By the Light of the Moon.
Yeah, By the Light of the Moon, or In the Moonlight, something like that. Ed Gein. It's an Ed Gein movie. Not much happens. It only shows one killing and stuff. It's just a portrayal of him, and he's the most sympathetic fucking guy. Like, you feel bad for Ed Gein. It's so well done. It's no one really talks about it. It was, I think it might have been like a made for HBO or one of those things, because it was not in the theaters, that's for sure. But check that out if you like that sympathetic cannibal kind of thing.
Yeah, I've seen so many Ed Gein movies, I'm not sure which ones I haven't seen. You know, so
He looks just like him. It's uncanny.
cool. I'm gonna have to check that. Now I'm gonna add to my list.
All right, so
My number one we already went through. So what's your number one?
So I'm down to number one. I went the most obvious choice that you could have. So give me 1 second. I was looking up Grim Love on IMDb and taking a screenshot of it,
And
so I don't have my list up.
remind me again, what was the name of the movie with the auto cannibalism in it?
Anthropophagus. That's another one I had no idea how to pronounce for a long time. Okay. But it's just look up Grim Reaper on IMDb and it will say also known as.
I thought it was
have that title.
I thought it was called Anthropophagus or something. I don't know. So
Anthropophagus.
My number one, I went the most obvious that you could possibly be. Choke on him! I hope you choke on him!
Yes.
Day of the Dead, Captain Rhodes.
Awesome.
Bug shoots him, he gets ripped to shreds by all the zombie hands.
Yeah.
Choke on him! Choke on him!
That was on my honorable mentions because I didn't want to. I figured one of you guys would have it, so I didn't have it on there. But oh my god, what a great scene!
Yeah, I went super obvious. So, okay, Nathan, you're the guest. Give us your honorable mentions.
All right, let's go for honorable mentions. I actually have 5 of them. Number 1 is the lawyer getting eaten off the toilet in Jurassic Park.
Great scene.
Number 2 is Quint getting eaten in Jaws.
One of the quintessential humans getting eaten deaths. Quintessential.
That might have been more obvious than Day of the Dead.
That's actually, it's on my list, too.
I put it 2 because I didn't want to go... I was going obvious, but I didn't want to go that obvious.
I also had the defibrillator scene from The Thing.
Yep, it's on mine.
That's good.
Gets his hands bitten off. The end of Blood-Sucking Freaks.
Yes.
With the chick with the dick and the hot dog bun. That's good. I don't know. I guess I have a dick-eating thing on this list. And
you should really see a psychologist or something, you know?
if I had the dollar for every time I've heard that. And my last one was the first zombie bite in the original Dawn of the Dead. When they go in and storm the house and the guy bites that chick's neck and pulls, and you get that distinctive latex pull.
Yeah, the snap.
And it was kind of that moment where, the zombie game changed.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was where gore entered the zombie, movie thing. So, yeah, that one's definitely on there, too.
Nice.
So, yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
Okay. Dom?
All right, I've got a few here. First on my honorable mention list is Russell Franklin, a.k.a. Samuel L. Jackson, giving a motivational speech and then getting swallowed by a shark in Deep Blue Sea. So fucking stupid and glorious.
I did on the Son of Celluloid blog 5 years ago. I did a series of the horror movie Darwin Awards.
Nice.
It was the dumbest ways anyone's ever died. That was on there. It's like, if you're going to give a motivational speech about surviving a shark attack, don't do it literally in the only spot in the room where the sharks can reach you.
And the last thing he says is, and we're going to close this hatch.
Yeah.
Boom. Great.
Tired of these motherfucking sharks in this motherfucking hatch.
Rennie Harlan at his best and worst. Next on my list is the dude getting his face eaten by the jaguar in Apocalypto.
Nice.
They're running through the jungle chasing after the dude, and it just jumps out and fucking chomps down on his face, and all of his friends are watching him as it just mounges on his face, and all of his buddies are like, what the fuck do we do?
Have you guys heard that in one frame of Apocalypto, there's Waldo from Where's Waldo?
Yeah.
In a pile of bodies?
Yep.
If you pause it, you can see Waldo. You have to find him.
I'm going to have to go watch that.
Yeah.
It was only... Mel Gibson is such a fucking psychotic that it was only in the theatrical version.
He's...
you can see it on YouTube, though.
He's a terrible human being, but I gotta say, Mel Gibson can direct a fucking movie.
Can direct a gory fucking movie.
Yeah,
The Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
Or the Jerusalem Jesus Massacre.
Next on my list was Quint's death. After that was the fancy leg dinner from Hostel 2.
Yeah.
Guy's sitting on the table, and the dude cuts a little piece off and goes to the table with it. I had the defibrillator chest chomp from The Thing, and Walter's death in Tremors.
All right. So, I got a couple. Most of them were already mentioned because we've already had 3 fucking lists and 2 honorable mentions. So I got a few of them. The old man getting eaten by the creature in the crate from Creepshow. Yeah.
Yes, Fluffy.
Yeah. Fluffy. Another one. This one pissed me off. There's no reason I'm not going to put it on the list. Just like, we had some non-horror movies on the honorable mentions, and that's okay. They just can't be on the list. That's our rule. So, Dom, note that down. Tattoo to yourself like a memento. Because you forget stuff, Right.
No horror movies, and it can't be Dennis.
So, my next one, Anaconda. He winks. John Voight. What a stupid fucking movie. Yeah. That movie's terrible. But I had to put that on
honestly,
there.
My one fear, I am terrified of snakes.
Really?
That movie is more terrifying to me than just about anything else you got. I will watch, I'll watch anything, Serbian film, Cannibal Holocaust, the most extreme stuff. I will never and will never watch snakes on a plane.
Nathan is tired of these motherfucking snakes.
Absolutely. So yeah, Anaconda actually scared the shit out of me.
Okay, then I had Quint and Jaws. The Blob. The fucking Blob eats all kinds of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? Killer clowns from outer space. They turn them into fucking cotton candy. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the shadow puppet.
Yeah.
Shadow Puppet's great.
Yeah.
You hear they're making a show of that? Of Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
Save it for the horror news. Why are you wasting it right now?
Because it kind of came to my mind. and my brain thinks things and then my mouth says them.
Well, we're skipping horror news this week anyway.
Yeah.
So, The Mist. Plenty of people been in The Mist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One of my non-horror movie honorable mentions, Grizzly Man.
I love that movie.
Werner Herzog.
Yes.
Grizzly Man. You don't see it. You hear the reaction.
Yeah.
And he says, destroy this. Destroy this. You must destroy this. Don't let it be out there.
Nice.
Very nice. Good pick.
Eaten Alive, the fucking alligator.
Of course.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And it's so there, like, if you search
called
Eaten
Eaten Alive.
Yeah. From Dusk Till Dawn, Scott. Kill me, Kate. Kill me, Kate. The Christian guitar player brother.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last one, in Shaun of the Dead, David. We need to do top 5 douchebags, because that guy's a fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
He has his girlfriend, and he's hitting on the fucking Shaun of the Dead's girlfriend the whole time. And then he gets his comeuppance.
Yeah, he
bar,
does.
pulled through the fucking window and ripped to shreds. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Seriously. So that's my honorable mentions. That's all I got.
Nice.
So, Nathan, the mad
Yes.
scientist of ultraviolence, the son of celluloid, co-host of Picking Brains, and upcoming star, main marquee star of
Absolutely.
of Frankenstein Created Bikers. We thank you so much for joining us on Post Mortem.
No, man, thank you guys for having me, and we'll have to do it again soon. You guys will have to come on Picking Brains, and see this being the start of a beautiful friendship.
For sure. Yeah, well, yeah, we're down to come on Picking Brains, and when the movie gets wide release, like video on demand and shit, we want to have you back again. So
Hell yeah.
once we've seen it and stuff.
We could talk about
Sounds
it
good to me.
afterwards.
All right, dude. Well, have a good night. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem, guys. Support independent horror.
For sure. Thanks for coming on, man.
Now we have our listener top 5. As suggested, this whole list suggested by Antoine from Valdosta, Georgia.
Georgia.
We're in Georgia.
That's right.
We're worldwide. Post Mortem worldwide.
At least Georgia-wide. Georgia's pretty big. There's a lot of cool stuff there. It's the home of Crunk. That's where Crunk comes from.
Prestige worldwide. Wide. Anyways, here's top 5.
Actually, if we're doing so much about Georgia, we should do this Crunk style. Like every time you read one of Antoine's lists, I'll be like, "What? Okay."
All right. So you can do that.
All right.
And I'll read
I'm not going to do that.
Yes, you are.
I probably will. Yeah.
Number 5.
What?
Number 5.
Okay.
Daryl Sabara being eaten by stone cannibals in the Green Inferno.
Yeah.
It was my number 3. Number 4. That's enough of that shit.
Okay, no
We're
more
going to
Crunk.
cut that shit right off right now.
Okay.
No more.
All right.
We will not subject. God damn it! We will not subject the listeners to that. Number 4. Robert England being eaten by a croc in Eaten Alive.
That's right. He was in that movie. It's like one of his first movies, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
Huh.
I remember him best as Freddy.
Oh yeah.
And also best as the redneck in Strangeland. You ever see him? He's
yeah.
He's on a chair like this.
Yeah.
He's doing that little workout move.
Yeah,
he's
he's
like,
doing
come
the
here,
dance,
man. I love fucking Strangeland.
It's a great movie.
Number 3. John Voight being eaten by an anaconda and Anaconda.
All right.
The Wink.
The Wink.
Number 2. Miguel from Day of the Dead being eaten by the zombies outside of the base.
Yeah. Poor Miguel. He gets fucked up.
And number 1. Bill Sage being eaten alive by his daughters in We Are What We Are.
Nice, my
A
number
little
2.
bit of crossover
Yeah.
there. Thank you, Antoine. Sorry, I can't speak.
Okay.
Fuck you, Dom. We appreciate you sending your list. We appreciate the kind words sent to our Gmail. If you guys want to give us your list, send it to postmortemshow@gmail.com.
That's right. We'll crunk the shit out of your list too.
We will not crunk anything ever again.
I'm living the crunk life now, man. You gotta accept it.
You're not going to live
you
any
gotta
life.
accept me for who I am.
You are not going to live any life.
I'm gonna start showing up with a big grill and some dreadlocks.
No,
and
you're
a
not.
big pimp cup full of crunk juice.
God damn it! Just because Little John is dead now doesn't mean you can do that.
Little John is dead.
Oh, I mean Prince.
Prince is dead.
I'm confusing my Dave Chappelle skits.
2 of his best skits, though.
Yeah.
Would you like some grapes, bitches?
All right, so now let's say our goodbyes.
Well, that's it for Post Mortem. But as always, as H.P. Lovecraft used to say, if it smells like fish,
Throw the fucker back.
yeah.
Fuck you in the... God damn it! This is the last episode ever.
What?